If God answered every prayer exactly the way we wanted, exactly when we wanted, have you ever stopped to wonder what our lives might look like? Let's talk about it. Welcome to Conversations of Faith. It is an interesting question, isn't it? Because if we are honest, many of us can thank God for prayers He did not answer our way. Maybe it was a relationship that didn't work out. Maybe a job you desperately wanted but never got. Maybe it was an opportunity that seemed perfect at the time. Or a door that closed even though you prayed for it to stay open. At the time, it may have felt disappointing. Maybe you even wondered if God had heard your prayers. But later, you look back and realized God knew something you didn't. I've had moments like that in my own life. There were things I wanted so badly, things I prayed about with complete sincerity. And when they didn't happen, I didn't understand why. I wondered what God was doing. But as time passed, I began to see His wisdom. I realized that God's perspective is so much greater than mine. He sees what I cannot see. He knows the beginning from the end. He knows every conversation I will have tomorrow, every decision I'll face next year, every door that leads to life, and every door that could lead me away from His best. That is why trusting God isn't just about believing He can answer our prayers. It is also believing that He knows which prayers to answer differently than we expected. Yeah. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy path. Mhm. The Bible tells us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and not to lean on our own understanding. Why? Because our understanding is limited. We see today, but God sees eternity. We see one opportunity, but God sees the entire journey. Sometimes we become frustrated when our prayers seem unanswered. We wondered if God is listening, but perhaps instead of asking, why isn't God giving me what I want? We can begin asking, Lord, help me to want what you want for my life. That is a difficult prayer because it requires surrender. It requires trusting that God's will is better than our own. Jesus himself prayed, not my will, but yours be done. If the Son of God entrusted himself to the Father's will, how much more should we? Not my will, but thine be done. Pray to Jesus. May this same prayer be mine every day when this robe of flesh that I wear makes me falter. Guide my steps, hold my hand all the way. Mhm. I have learned that God's love isn't measured by whether He says yes to everything I ask. His love is seen in His wisdom. A loving father doesn't give his children everything they ask for. Not true. Sometimes he says no. Sometimes he says wait. Not to hurt them, but because he sees what they cannot. And our Heavenly Father is perfect in his wisdom. So, if you are feeling discouraged today because a prayer hasn't been answered the way you hoped, don't rush to believe that God has forgotten you. No, it may simply be that His plans are higher than yours. His timing is wiser than yours. His love is deeper than you can imagine. One day, you may look back and thank Him for the prayers He answered differently than you expected. Mhm. Until then, keep praying, keep trusting, keep surrendering your plans to Him because God sees what you cannot. He knows what is best, and His heart towards His children is always good. Mhm. So, my question for you today is, can you think of a time when God did not answer your prayer the way you hoped, but later you realized His plan was wiser and better than what you wanted? Huh? Hmm. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message encouraged you, I hope you will share it with someone who may be struggling to understand God's timing or His answers. Until next time, keep trusting, keep believing, and remember that God is always faithful. I mean, enough love and blessings. Faithful, faithful, faithful is our God. Oh, faithful, faithful, faithful is our God. I'm reaping the harvest God promised me. Take back what the devil stole from me, and I rejoice today. For I shall recover it all. Yes, I rejoice today. For I shall recover it all.